Today on X-Play.
Possesses steez.
1,800 perfect abs. The Block, but in video game form. And Chili Con Carnage. Resurrect your lost innocence. It's game time.
Let's go shred this Gnar, bro.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Adam Sessler. Morgan Webb.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Prepare to be reviewed. This is X-Play.
Hello and welcome to X-Play.
X-Play. It's not just mediocre, it's mediocre for you.
We're not shooting for the best. Best, that's network talk.
And we ain't getting network money. How? We're not even getting podcast money.
So that's why we just try to give you the best damn game reviews we can using only our sweat, determination, and a Filipino production assistant.
Today we review Chili Con Carnage, the game with the best damn name ever. Apparently it's a PSP revamp of Total Overdose, but I don't really care. It's a hell of a name. And we review SSX Blur, possibly one of the most fun game branches of all time on one of the most fun consoles of all time. It may just blow the pleasure centers of my brain to the degree that Laudanum already has. And later in the show, we review Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, letting you humiliate your friends through lots of new, crisply HD killing blows.
But we begin with a game inspired by a recent movie which managed to be both an homage to the principles of classical Greece and the importance of disciplined abdominal workouts. Here's our review of 300. The world is in a pretty tense state right now, thanks to wacky Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. And now he's complaining that the recent movie 300 portrays Persians in a bad light. Surely the companion game for the PSP, 300 March to Glory, will treat Persians better.
Spartans, attack!
In case you slept through your ancient Greek history lessons, or the movie, 300 recounts the Battle of Thermopylae, in which an outmatched Spartan force defends itself against a huge Persian onslaught.
Then we shall kill 1,000.
Naturally, we would never insult the Persians. Persians are deserving of our utmost respect.
Their word is law.
You rally the troops to Spartan King Leonidas, Persian killer extraordinaire. Every Persian you kill grants you points, which you can spend to upgrade your weapons and armor, so make sure to cut down as many Persians as possible. Granted, we are fair and even-handed in our opinions of the Persians, but what about the game? Does it show the same deference we do?
Come, Persian horse! This place reeks of Persians. Vile Persian filth.
Balanced view, indeed.
If it doesn't speak Greek, kill it.
The gameplay is fairly simple. See Persian/Persian. There are combos to unlock, but you probably won't be using them in the heat of battle. You also have a variety of bloodlust abilities that help you heal up, cause more damage, and slow time. So, what do you want out of a game like this? What about dopey AI? Repetitive action? Sure thing. And what the hell is this? You expect a certain amount of clipping in a PSP game, but when you can't even tell what you're looking at, something needs to be fixed.
How about a hand?
There are points here where you get glimpses of what a better version of this game could be. The phalanx formation is pretty cool.
Form a phalanx! Now!
But there are no variations once you've done it once. Using your shield as a weapon is fun too, but protecting yourself from raining arrows quickly becomes repetitive.
Arrow! Cocktail!
Yep, killing future Iranians made for pretty much what you'd expect from a movie-turned-video game.
Do not waste my time!
The slaughter of Persian sword fodder only earns 300 March to Glory, 2 rotting Persian corpses
Hardly seems fair then.
out of 5. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm scheduled to have some rosewater ice cream with President Ahmadinejad. I can't see what he's getting so worked up about.
I'll give the matter some thought.
First time I saw 300, I was overcome by the visual recreation of Frank Miller's art. And the second time, I was struck by how high the production values are in gay porn these days.
I don't think it was technically gay porn.
Of course 300's gay porn. There's like 300 naked guys and a giant drag queen.
That's not a drag queen, that's Xerxes.
Xerxes, the guy from the Purim story? No, I'm pretty sure if he were a giant naked guy with multiple cheek rings, they would have mentioned that in the Book of Esther.
Still, movie, it was not gay porn.
I'm pretty sure some of those guys had sex with each other at some point in the movie. Maybe you got up for some junior mints at some point?
We'll agree to disagree on that one. And you know what? That's what life is about. Barely tolerating people whose opinions you loathe and disgust. It's an issue at the very heart of our next game about a world of magic turned upside down by the discovery of steam power. Wow! Steam power! Scary. Here's a review of Silverfall.
Diablo. For those of you out there on the low end of our demographic, Diablo was one of the first real games to mix the swinging swords of action with the thoughtful notes of RPG on the home PC. While many have followed in the footsteps of the grandfather of dungeon crawlers, some have stumbled and fallen by the wayside. We look at one such fall, Silverfall, for the PC. Sure, it's all there, the hacking, the massive looting, the ability to call on minions, the grotesque and horribly disfigured boss, the blossoming skill trees that lead to more power and bigger spells. Where did it all go wrong? Sometimes you run into a glitch, and run into another glitch. I guess Silverfall's main inhabitants must be glitches, but the worst ones are those quest-stopping glitches. Look here, this woman wants me to find a group of lost travelers, and I do. Bring them back to the camp, and so where's my reward, lady? Lady, hello?
Hey.
Look, Missy, I want my reward.
Hey.
Okay, that's it. Needless to say, I didn't get my reward that day. Level up and the world levels up with you. More than just a terribly misquoted saying, it's a problem that plagues the realm of Silverfall. The annoying zombies that greet you at level 5 are just as annoying at level 15. And back to the fantasy ghetto you go with everything nature gave you. Underwear. And for once, the women aren't tramping around like, well, women from a video game. The men don't fare as well. At this point, you have one of two options. Slog through the muck and mire with the biggest sword you can find, or run like hell. I am sad to report that the melody of that incorrigible codger, Benny Hill, is not included in Silverfall. You'll have to settle for this instead. Run, run, run! Keep running, go, keep going. No, don't attack, no, stop, keep running, run! Controls at times forget that you were trying to run and instead attack, or even forget that you were attacking to begin with. While all of the ingredients are present, bad controls and a swarm of bugs bog down the game. This time, the silver falls short of the bronze, with a 2 out of 5.
I had long suspected that the Industrial Revolution killed off all the magical creatures.
Darwin 1, magical nature creatures 0.
Yeah, if you're so magical, why don't you learn to handle your soot inhalation, huh?
Genetic viability isn't for everyone, just winners like us Homo sapiens.
We are engines of genius and walking upright it is, so we can do all sorts of stuff.
Example, toaster pastry. It's all the flaky goodness of a bakery fresh pastry, but you cook it in your toaster. That is our huge cranial capacity at work.
We also figured out how to beam mid-quality cable review shows onto your cell phone.
I have heard nothing of this, and I'm a regular reader of several prominent news weeklies, including The Nation. Where could I possibly learn more about this complex but fascinating process?
Well, the National Review, or g4tv.com/mobile. It'll give you all the information that you need.
In a moment, Chili Con Carnage on X-Play.
Say hello to my killer chicken!
Viewers agree, Attack of the Show is the source for everything you care about.
We really do know what you want.
Kevin is my role model.
$600 for a console and Sony can't kick me a $15 table?
Olivia equals hot.
Get ready to bend over and let me in your pants.
When it comes to tech and gaming, they're definitely not noobs.
97% of the internet is porn, right? So let's take a look at the other 3%, shall we?
All right.
Attack of the Show, tonight at 7 and 11 on G4.
Have you met Morgan Webb?
Pleased to meet you, and welcome back to X-Play. There are a lot of Grand Theft Auto clones out there, each one tries to distinguish itself by blowing out of proportion some distasteful aspect of the GTA series. I mean, the problem is that the GTA games are perfectly balanced structures of distaste. I mean, if they were any less violent, they'd seem too misogynistic. If they were any more homophobic, you wouldn't really appreciate the disregard for civic order. And Total Overdose decided to maximize the offensiveness of the GTA structure by setting it in a world of broad ethnic stereotypes. And apparently it worked well enough to merit a PSP spin-off. You know, with all the GTA stuff taken out. Here's Chili Con Carnage.
Happy birthday,
Feliz cumpleaños, señor.
What's joy?
Muy malo, señor. Muy malo. And that's just the beginning of this bad boy, or rather, this malo muchacho. It's time to enjoy a heaping pile of chili con carnage in Mexico. Ah, Mexico. Marvelous, magical Mexico. Let's get right to it. Thanks, Senor Bono and Senor Edge. For that long-time viewer of X-Play, you may find that Chili Con Carnage has more than a passing resemblance to Total Overdose, A Gunslinger's Tale in Mexico. Let's call it a reimagining. Same gameplay, same questionable humor.
He hurt his little nuggets.
Same Mexico. If you're a fan of Robert Rodriguez or the fine scripts written by his kids, this game might be just what the sombrero ordered.
Oh, man.
Triple C is a simple story of a man seeking revenge for the death of his father. It's Shakespearean with a touch of Benicio del Toro.
Time to settle the score.
It's got it all. Action. Suspense. Romance. Chickens.
Say hello to my killer chicken.
This is a game for those who like their games not only with gun-toting, muscle-bound, bikini-clad ladies, not only with mucho bandidos dressed up like burros, but with chickens. Evil, misunderstood chickens. The action is straight out of a Selena video with all the carnage and mayhem you'd expect. Lots of spinning, lots of leaping, and dominoes. Nothing you haven't seen before.
Pinche tramposo. Que te fierro,
Of course, with the shoddy camera work, even if you have seen it before, the action might be hard to follow. And if you haven't seen it before, don't get too cozy, because the game won't take long to play. To put it in Chili Con Carnage terms, it'll take about as long as crossing into San Diego hiding under the floorboards of a Chevy truck. Just a couple of hours, give or take security. You have a PSP? Join the rest of us in the gutter with Chili Con Carnage. We give it 3 Bomba La Bombas out of 5. Richie Valens forever. Oh, subtlety. You are a stranger to the world of third-person shooters.
I'd take a deadly sombrero over subtlety any day.
But subtlety decreases your threat by 15%.
Oh, what a hilarious World of Warcraft Talent 3 related joke, Adam. I am sure that three disciplined spec priests in our audience found it side-splittingly funny.
It's for you.
Coming up, SSX Blur tests the powder on X-Play.
I feel a great tremor in the Force. The last time I felt it was in the presence of my old master.
When will Fable 2 be coming out in stores?
So we've been told that Fable 2 was going to come out sometime in 2008, but we don't have any information more specific than that.
And this is a Peter Molyneux game. We should know that half of the things he says about it before it's released probably won't be true.
They may make some fine games, black and white Fable in the movies.
And now, GDC, we saw that Fable 2 was set in an Industrial Revolution version of the Fable world, and you're going to have a dog with you, which will impact your gameplay, and that's pretty much what we know.
But 2008 is a long way off, and you've got to find some way of distracting yourself until then. I would suggest knitting or possibly playing our next game, SSX Blur.
SSX superfans, this is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Yes, SSX superfans, this is the moment that you've all been waiting for. It's the release of SSX Blur for the Nintendo Wii.
Let's get this fiesta started, compilation party people.
Oh, that's DJ Atomica who's talking. He's your helpful announcer for the entirety of the game.
Kicking off the slopestyle action on Kicked Out, I'm DJ Atomica.
Yeah, he's not irritating at all.
Only on Radio Big.
Fortunately, the core gameplay more than makes up for it. SSX Blur is so fun that it makes us want to try snowboarding in real life. Fortunately for us, we discovered this long-lost educational film that'll help us learn to become a snowboarder.
Extreme Sports Video Series presents A Guide to Snowboarding. Tape 11, Vocabulary. Steezy, adjective.
Bro, did you check out that 6-7-20 indie rodeo flip I just did off that kicker?
It was steezy.
So.
His skill is admirable. He possesses steez.
Well, that explained nothing. The control scheme in SSX Blur takes some serious getting used to. You steer with the analog stick and by leaning the nunchuck left and right. In order to pull off jumps, you sharply flick the nunchuck upwards. Then, if you want to add some steez to your riding, you can manipulate the Wii remote to execute flips and spins.
Method to fakie.
Hey guys, checking all that pow-pow. Catch any freshies?
Dude, look at the gaper.
Gaper, one who does not possess steez. Gaper.
If you pull off enough tricks correctly, your Uber meter fills up and you can perform an Uber trick. That's kind of like a regular trick, only much more Uber. All kidding aside, we really enjoyed the challenging controls. They add a sense of difficulty that's been missing from the series in recent years.
In first place, Zoe is on top of the world.
We had a lot of fun with SSX Blur. We just wish that actual snowboarders were as likable as this game.
Let's put together what you've learned so far.
Bro, did you check out that sicky pow-pow?
All day, bro.
Total dumpage, man.
Friend, did you observe that fluffy snow? It appears we've experienced significant snowfall.
Good. Now let's try another example.
Man, this is an epic bonanza. Let's go shred this Gnar, bro.
Oh, for the love of God, what is wrong with you kids? Shred the Gnar? That doesn't make any sense.
Dude, check out the gaper.
Dude, he's so old.
Don't look directly at him. I bet he's totally unsteezy.
Are you kidding me? Steezy? What is that? Baby talk? Get out of here. Get out of here. SSX Blur gets a 4 out of 5, and that's it. Review's over. I'm going to bed.
Wow, you sure showed those guys.
Well, it's not too hard to scare the snowboarders. Usually all you have to do is tell them that the feds are on the way or that your stash is completely tapped.
Yeah, or that they need to start paying rent.
Up next, Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection on X-Play.
I'm Layla Kaylee, and this is The Feed. Google is beta testing a new content filter to keep copyrighted videos off YouTube. Google CEO Eric Schmidt told the National Association of Broadcasters that the software should be ready for a public launch in a few weeks. Elsewhere on the internet, the creators of Lowly Girl 15 are prepping a spin-off on Bebo.com. Lowly Girl 15 presents Kate Modern is the story of a 19-year-old British college student. The producers are searching for a lead actress, as well as writers and producers from the UK. And finally, George Lucas had an interesting day at the races. The Star Wars creator's car was sideswiped at the Toyota Long Beach Grand Prix and spun out into a tire wall. Leave the pod racing to Anakin next time, George. Well, that's all for now. Visit us on the web at g4tv.com/thefeed. It's the only news you need to know. I am Layla Kaylee, and you have just been fed.
This show also available on podcast.
They insist the photos were doctored. It's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to X-Play.
Of the games we've seen so far on the PS3, Virtua Fighter was one of the best.
So when we're looking for new games to follow in its tradition, maybe a game franchise that began by stealing from Virtua Fighter is the way to go.
Here's our review of Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. The distant odor of sumo musk and the echoing call of a panda bear can only mean one thing. A new Tekken game has arrived. Okay, Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection isn't exactly new. It's actually a port of the arcade game that first appeared on the PSP. You won't find this one on store shelves. It's only available by download at a refreshingly affordable $20. Scaled down from your typical Tekken title, it plays like a classic coin-op arcade fighter with 3 modes. The standard arcade mode, a 2-player versus mode, and Ghost mode. Ghost mode offers the best alternative to players mourning the lack of online multiplayer, as each opponent's behavior is modeled after a real-life person, making it the next best thing to a flesh and blood friend. Dark Resurrection also has an impressive 35 playable characters, including the newly introduced Lily, the rogue jailbait who's just a little too close to Daddy.
Please don't tell my father.
And Dragunov, who harnesses the power of the undead Lemonface. Of course, the usual cast of beloved characters also returns. Heihachi with his Noogie of Death, Ling Xiaoyu, the Handless Wonder, this guy, and of course, the panda that kills with love. In the grand tradition of fighters that moonlight as pretty princess makeover games, Dark Resurrection gives you the opportunity to purchase trinkets and color schemes of all kinds with points earned, because crushing skulls feels much better in a pink bikini and a party hat. And although we really wanted to help this poor street urchin finally afford some knickers, the best we could do were some lacy thigh highs. Sorry. At least her new 1080p resolution socks will look glorious amongst equally detailed environments. Alas, the lack of storyline and cutscenes leaves us with questions. Like, why does this thing have boobs? And how can I get my own sumo wrestler with a jetpack? Am I the only person that finds it creepy that this girl fights in tandem with a little man called Roger protruding from her belly? Would it be okay if I hosted with a Quado like Mini-Me? No, it would be an abomination. Moving on. In a concession to fanatics, Dark Resurrection provides the option of downloading 3 new cinemas. Of course, you'll also pay for this privilege with points and a healthy dose of loading screen boredom. Still, despite the lack of story and online multiplayer, Dark Resurrection delivers impressive visuals and arcade, flawless gameplay for a fraction of the usual cost. Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection gets a 4 out of 5.
It is both peanut butter jelly and X-Play replay time.
We gave 300 a 2 out of 5 for some nice violent action, but the poor quality of the graphics and AI were just inexcusable.
Silverfall got a 2 out of 5 because we like the skill system, but there are loads of glitches.
Con Carnage got a 3 out of 5. The over-the-top action is really fun, but it's a short, lame PSP game. Just like every other PSP game.
SSX Blur got a 4 out of 5 for intuitive controls and loads of unlockables.
And Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection got a 4 out of 5 because it's cheap, no frills fighting.
I'm comfortable with no frills.
Yeah.
If those guys in 300 taught me anything, it's that frills are for the weak and strong core workouts, well, that's for the strong.
But frills make things pretty. Encrusting things with jewels also makes things pretty. I think that Tekken 5 could use more of both.
And you should never expect frills when you come to X-Play.